Bucket list locations. We all have them, and this was right at the top of mine. I'm Stuart McGlennon, a professional landscape photographer and gallery owner, and this is part one of my trip to Lofoten in Norway. Morning folks, welcome to Lofoten, and there aren't many words to describe a place like this, but from a photography point of view, the word that keeps coming to mind a lot is the word cheating, and this just feels like cheating, to be honest with you. I've been here 3 days. I didn't want to do a lot of video on the first few days just to get my bearings. It's now snowing again for the 100th time, which is absolutely brilliant, but hopefully you'll excuse me if I'm a little bit lost for words with some of this stuff. We're down at Haukland Beach, which is one of the sort of popular beaches here in Lofoten, and we've got blanket snow everywhere, which is just amazing. So I've just been trying to get my bearings this morning and just weighing up a couple of compositions, but just trying to take all this in because it's just absolutely incredible. I'll just walk you over to where I'm at. I'll just try and keep you out of the wind here because it's a little bit breezy. We've got this tremendous view out to sea here, and then the bit that I'm shooting here is just this little S-curve that's running into the water. It's sort of partially frozen, and then we've got the snow-covered beach in the mid-distance here. We're about half an hour after sunrise at the minute. We're just hoping for a little bit of glow on the mountains in the distance. Oh Christ, just give me a second because this is really coming in. So, the shot we're going for, I'll try this again. I'm down here at the shoreline, well, not quite at the shoreline. There's a little S-bend in the river that runs out into the sea here, and it's all sort of partially frozen. The patterns and colours are absolutely amazing, I'll be honest. We've got a few rocks in the foreground here that are covered in snow, and then you've got partial ice and then the water running through the middle of it. I've got the polarizer on just to bring out some of these colours. I'm shooting at about 30mm, and I'm just waiting for this passing snow shower to just pass over, just so I can see a bit more of the mountains. Now the one mountain in the middle, I'll just take this shot here, is it's just starting to come into view now, so I'm going to take one just as a bit of a comparison, but really ideally I'd like to be able to see all the mountains in the distance. But yeah, this is absolutely tremendous, to be honest. I'm frightened to move because there's obviously so many other compositions here, but when you get settled on one and then you keep getting these squalls coming through, you really want that one moment to come for you. So I'm just waiting it out here. When I get a shot I'm happy with, I think I'll move on to something else, but for now this is looking pretty good. If this is any good, I'll stick it on the screen. Right everyone, we're back and trying our best here to keep our eyes on the ball and keep concentrated, because everywhere you turn around here it is just ridiculous. We went to Hamno yesterday for a little drive around, and I think the best way I could describe it was like Disneyland. Doesn't quite seem real. All the houses and everything, even though obviously people live in them and work here, it feels like they've just been almost placed there just for photographers to photograph. It feels like they're going to get carted off at the end of the day and packed away almost. Yeah, I'm rambling, but yeah, this afternoon I'm trying to keep my eye on the ball. We've come down to Vikten, which is a beach I've been to a couple of times already, but wanted to come down this afternoon because the snow seems to have covered a lot of the beaches, and this one in particular, really interesting foregrounds to work with. Lots of nice little grooves cut out of these rocky slabs here, and then they all lead up to another one of these really pointy mountains. So yeah, I've just been having a little walk around and seeing what I can find. I've come across this little composition here, and we've got this little puddle here that's sort of frozen over partially, and got these lovely rocks that are covered in snow, so really you can't really go wrong. It's just a case of trying to arrange them as best you can. So for this shot here, I'll go right into talking you through this composition. Got the polarizer on just to darken down these colours in the foreground, shooting in vertical format, about 30mm, so right at the long end of my wide lens. And just in the distance here we're getting a few little squalls coming across, which are sort of partially obscuring the mountain every now and again, so I'm just waiting it out here to see if we get any light. But even as it is, it's absolutely stunning. Yeah, you can't really go wrong. Just point your camera at something and it'll probably work. So yeah, anyway, I'll get this one in the bag, and then I'm going to move on to something else because there's loads and loads of different options here to work with. So yeah, let's see how this turns out. Oh my, look at the light now. Unbelievable. Right, I'm going to keep taking shots here periodically and I'll show you the best one. Wow, unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. Afternoon everyone. I've been having a bit of a tricky time trying to do this video here. It's so hard to concentrate, I'll be honest with you folks, and I've said in the past my tendency with this stuff is just to bin the video, and the conditions we're having so far here in Lofoten are just absolutely tremendous. So I'm just trying to sort of fit video in here and there where I can, so I do apologise if this is cobbled together again, but I guess that's in keeping with the style of my videos. This afternoon we're down at Storsandnes, I think that's how you pronounce it. This is one of the quieter beaches. Greg and Daz have been here the other day and said it was worth checking out, so we've come down here for sunset. And yeah, I mean, there isn't a bad one around here. A lot of the beaches are absolutely piled up with snow, and this is no different. So just been plodding along here trying to find something that works with that lovely view across to the mountains in the distance here. A lot of the patterns are not quite lining up how I want them to, but yeah, I'm sure I'll be able to find something anyway. But But I should fill you in what I was doing earlier today, because we've had a bit of a jump. I can actually sit down in this snow. I've had a bit of a jump in the footage from the last place we were at, which was Vikten. I did try and film earlier this morning at Eggum, but it was so cold that it absolutely fried the battery on the little Pocket 2, so I had to abort that. Tried doing a bit of filming, and I think I had about 2% left on the battery. So I'll show you a few of those images here. Absolutely tremendous conditions, just blizzard-like conditions. Wow, Eggum, what a place. This area, you really did feel like you were out in the wilderness, and this particular drive up this isolated road was one that I'll remember for a long time. It was bitingly cold, about -14, but it was also blowing a gale, so the wind chill made it feel more like about -20. And one of my favourite shots of the trip is this image of this little blue hut, which had some really fantastic, vibrant colours on the panels and the door. And then it was just a case of waiting for the right moment for a blizzard to come across and partially obscure the background. So this was a particular favourite of mine. We had a drive up the sort of north end of the peninsula where we're stopping, and got away from the hordes, and so many more different opportunities to shoot as well. Really enjoyed it, and very different to what I'm used to back home. So yeah, it's been very enjoyable. So folks, you can see what we're working with here. Absolutely amazing foregrounds and patterns. The slight problem I'm having is that a lot of these lines in the snow seem to be running away from the direction that I'd like, which is obviously towards those mountains in the distance. So I'm just going to keep plodding along here and see if I can find something that points more in that direction. You can see here what we're dealing with. This is up to my knees, this stuff, but it's all good fun. So yeah. Hopefully we can find something. Okay, so I think I've found something. I've just got to be a bit careful here, because where you're putting your feet in these rocks, there's big crevices that you can easily break your ankle in. But yeah, found this little pattern here. One of the few ones that are actually pointing towards the mountains. There's this little slope that runs into like a little V. And then we've got the little bits of exposed rock where there's little bits of snow on them, and they're almost like they've been just sort of scraped out of the snow, and they're making a nice little bit of interest here to what would otherwise be, completely white. The distant view, I mean, as I say, there's not a bad one here. They're all amazing. The light's just gone in now. I don't know if we're actually going to get any light on the hills in the distance. It might be a case of sticking around to see if we get some of that nice sort of pastel glow behind the mountains. It's very nice at the minute, but could do with a bit of light, if I'm honest. But we're going to stick around and see what we get here. The shot itself, I'm on my 14-30, about 20mm f11, bog standard sort of wide angle landscape. As I say, we've got that nice little V here pointing towards that triangular peak in the distance. It looks more like a shark's fin. There's so many of them here that are all just so jagged and pointy. Just absolutely mind-blowing, to be honest. So yeah, anyway, I'll catch up with you in a bit, and we'll see if this light changes. Unfortunately, at this point, the Pocket 2 gave up the ghost again on the battery front, which was becoming a bit of a theme on this trip. But probably understandable given the extreme conditions. We really enjoyed our shoot here though, so much so that we actually came back to this beach a couple more times I'll show you a couple of those images at the end, as well as the ones that I got from this shoot. Keep liking and subscribing, and be sure to tune in next week for the second part of my Lofoten trip. Thanks very much, folks. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.